You know, one of the most grievous things that you can see or experience is a man that that violates Torah. Um, that a man that will violate the covenant agreement that a man has with his wife, um, and come in and manipulate that situation to take this man's wife as his own. We have a history. Now, I'm just talking about Israel, let alone the world. But we have history which talks about this very same thing. I'll give you the greatest example of adultery and wickedness done by a king in Israel, and that was, in fact, King David, a man after Yah's own heart. You gotta, uh, people, see, when I read this many years ago, um, because movies are based on this, and I always like to look at the backtrack of the movie, The Man with the Iron Mask, with Leonardo DiCaprio. It followed that same vein, the King David story, where he took Uriah the Hittite. He took this man's wife, right, and ordered him off to war. No, he knew it the entire time. The desire was set in his heart. Um, he planned the whole thing. He used his influence as king over Israel, to send this man off to war. Um, he planned the entire thing, and yet and still, he was a man after Yah's own heart. Y'all need to really think about that for 1 second, because this is all, and then you go up to the Messiah, the stories of the woman that was caught in the act of adultery. Um, you are a wicked and adulterous generation. This is not nothing new. And so just like witchcraft was going on back then, just like uh, pride and murder and strife and murmuring, the Most High killed people for murmuring and griping and complaining. All of these things were going on, okay? And it's given to you as an example to how we should be looking from a lens perspective today. So, looking at men, understanding what's going on in the hearts of men, because see, again, we have these examples. So, it's a grievous thing, but the single motherhood thing is rampant in Israel. Now, I'm not talking about from the perspective of the world or people that claim to be Christians or anything like that. I'm talking about the people who call themselves Hebrew Israelites, whether black Hebrew Israelites or Heodems or whatever. I'm just talking about those. I'm not talking about Christians, not talking about Muslims, not talking about any of that kind of stuff, right? Because the book and an example in these books were acts committed by Israelite men, okay? And see, again, that's why I pull up the King David. And again, he's going to be in the kingdom. It's been well established. He was a man after Yah's own heart. And just like he numbered the children of Israel, and just like he did this thing with Uriah the Hittite, we have a history of the judgment that came on his house and the betrayal by his own sons, and what he endured as a direct result of that decision that he made. So again, when you hear about acts of adultery today, when you hear about and know, I mean, it's one thing to not only hear examples, but know examples for yourself. Now, the individual examples are relevant because, one shall not rise up against the other, but out of the mouth of two or more witnesses, let every word be established. So when you got people, many people seeing this stuff, seeing timelines, seeing events. Now I'm talking about across the board, because Israel is comprised of many camps, many doctrines, many philosophies, many perspectives, many viewpoints. IUIC, IUICK, GOCC, this ministry, that ministry, overcoming ministry, we have a ton of them, right? Right? And amongst these assemblies, these camps, these ministries, this is what's going on. This is just a fact. This is just a fact. Just like you heard stories and you've seen things or whatever, across the board. This stuff is going on. It's just a fact. Nobody can't deny it. Okay? So you got to understand the stories of old to bring it forward, to give a certain lens and perspective in terms of how you need to be looking at people, what they do, why they do it, and the examples that they have or we have in the past, so that we can clearly see what's going on in the spirit, so that we can have a discerning eye and learn how to mitigate these losses, learn how to prevent these situations, because those are examples that are there, that were given, and that were prominent stories in the past, in the Bible, that actually happened. The judgments that came upon these people for murmuring, griping, complaining, for worshiping false idols, for turning their back on the covenant. All of these things are examples, and we have judgments associated. So this is why I bring up a specific example of King David, his treachery against this woman, and the judgments that came. If you don't know it, you can just read it. You can read it. It's all there. So again, I reiterate, just like all of these things were going on that were going on previously, and that are going on today. It's going on today. Is not murmuring, griping, complaining going on today? Is not murder going on today? Is not deceit and treachery and betrayal going on today? I mean, we would all agree that this is going on today. Okay? So likewise, adultery is going on today. Yeah, it's going on. And so this is why you got to understand how to move and how to discern what's going on, the signs of the time, so that you can may save your soul and your family. Because, the spirit of jealousy, is a masculine spirit. And and the scriptures talk about this kind of stuff. And, unfortunate, what you're going to see is men having the spirit of jealousy coming up on them and walking up to folks and just shooting them for 100 yards, 1,000 yards, 500 yards, walking up to them with a gun. They ain't gonna know it's gonna hit them. And because when you mess around with somebody's family, then you think that because you hold position or title, that you're gonna get away with that shit. There's a spiritual judgment, and there's also a real life natural judgment that can come up on a man. And nobody's bulletproof. No, everybody can be gotten to. Everybody out there can be touched. This is a fact. This is a simple fact. Is this just not true? If the president of the United States can get touched, so too can any man walk on the street. And he got bullets and armor-proof protection and missiles and helicopters and Secret Service and they were still assassinated. whether inside job or not, they got touched. It's a sad thing to hear and to see what's going on with all of these transgressions going on against, what you talked about, the two greatest commandments. One is to love the Father for all your heart, and all to love your brother. And therein hangs the whole of the law. And you're going to, whether it's brother, pastor, teacher, elder, deacon, bishop, servant, we're all servants, aren't we? But using their position to exploit the wives of others. Is this not going on today? Just like murder, just like murmuring, griping, complaining, just like slander. All of these things are going on. Would we not agree? Who would not agree that all these things going on? See, these are just more of the nastier or more intimately foul things that are done, that go on behind the scenes that nobody sees. One of them secret type of things is going on when nobody don't want to talk about it because it's an uncomfortable topic to discuss. I mean, after all, you would never think that your favorite general or your favorite bishop was sleeping with the or lusting in the flesh and then planning it out on the wives of their congregation. Now, would you? I mean, that would be some foul shit. You wouldn't think that your favorite bishop or your favorite elder, any of these titles, your brother would be doing something like that. However, it's going on. And until we're able to talk about this, because, see, it is an uncomfortable topic to touch on. But it's going on. Brothers scheming, what did he say? If you even look at your brother's wife with lust in your eyes, you've committed a sin. Many of you out there, part of these camps and stuff, this stuff is going on and you seeing it going on. And because people got position, you say nothing because you got position. And if you in any of these large congregations and you've got appointed or, wouldn't it feel great to just be appointed captain? I'm a captain now. And then the guy the elder that made you captain is banging his brother's wives. This is what's going on today. Turning a blind eye because it's such a nasty, foul, demonic, narcissistic spirit that you have. It's one of the things, how could you mitigate such things? I have very simple ideas in terms of how you mitigate these things. And they're just my personal, you know what I'm saying? It takes a level of standard and barrier in which folks should never be able to breach. That's what I think. A moral set of standards or values that should be put in place where it says under these circumstances, there's no reason why folks should be passing on wives. It's a disgusting thing to hear. That, because I couldn't personally do it. We're talking about Israel. We're not talking about Christians. We're not talking about or anything that we did out there. Where, Israelite men are passing on wives, having children with them, and then passing on and passing on. Or women just getting passed on and is known in camps to have been with 3 and 4 and 5 different Israelite brothers. Ooh, this is what's going on, is it not? Is it not these women just getting passed around and jumping from man to man in Israel? All of the adultery that's going on in Israel, that people that call themselves Israelites, this is what's going on that nobody don't want to talk about. And look at that. You say only 2/3 gonna be done. There's only gonna be a remnant out of Israel, out of the 144,000 or the 12,000 of each tribe. I'm talking about to those people that say that they are Israel. This is what's going on. And it's a sad thing. It's a sad deal because we're supposed to be a light onto the Gentiles. And this is what's going. This is why we jacked up as a people today. Because see, the fish rots from the head down. You see? See, if the leaders is do it, we have this example of the rebellious queen. And he said, listen, if you allow her to do that, everybody's gonna see that this woman didn't obey your command to come. And everybody gonna start. Everybody's wife gonna be doing it, because if the king's wife doing it, everybody else gonna start doing it. Same with today. Oh, we don't want to talk about this, but this is what's going on in Israel today. Adultery at an unprecedented level, blatant, right there in your face. Nobody gives a shit. Everybody turns a blind eye, either because a brother is liked or favored, or because they have position. I'm talking about from the bottom up and the top down. Hey, keep yourself sane, keep yourself pure, keep your head on the swivel. Everybody that says that there's Israel, not Israel. These spirits and these demonic entities, they're on full-fledged attack as the economy continues to collapse, as the cost of living continues to go up, as people become more and more stressed and blown out of their minds. In Israel, I'm talking about that because see, it's amazing. You know, when I look at these stacks, my people come in first. I think about from our people first. How is this shit affecting our people? And if anything that they're saying, whether it's the unemployment rate or the poverty rate, is hitting us way more than just whatever percentage it is out there in that world. We're getting it the worst. We're at the total bottom of the top, bottom of the food chain, working bullshit jobs, and nobody get it. And everybody think they're going to be a Kardashian. This is what's going on today. Living in a total freaking fantasy world. Well, let me get out of here. Let me get some stuff done. Adultery in Israel is rampant. Just like all of these other iniquities are running rampant. Transgressed against our neighbor. First 5 commandments has to do with the father. Second 5 has to do with your brother. We just toe up, ain't we?